On Wednesday, October 7th, 2020, there was a 5.3 magnitude quake in open waters across the Caribbean Sea, and this quake shook various Caribbean islands. A 5.3 magnitude earthquake that struck in the open waters across the Caribbean on Wednesday was felt in several Caribbean islands, including Puerto Rico and the U.S. Virgin Islands. According to the United States Geological Survey, the earthquake occurred approximately 42 miles southeast of Cruz Bay in the U.S. Virgin Islands at a relatively shallow depth of 6 miles. The spokesman for the Virgin Islands Emergency Management Agency has stated that there was no damage reported on the island. He has described it as a nice rolling shake. The USGS has advised that Puerto Rico and the U.S. and British Virgin Islands are located between the North American and the Caribbean plates, which have caused large earthquakes and dangerous tsunamis in the past. In the Caribbean Sea, the U.S. Virgin Islands lies along a transform plate boundary, where the small Caribbean plate moves eastward past the oceanic part of the North American plate. Caribbean islands of Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands are located at an active plate boundary between the North American plate and the northeast corner of the Caribbean plate. It should be noted that plate movements have caused large magnitude earthquakes and devastating tsunamis in this region. There is, of course, an ongoing program to identify and map the faults in this region, using various geological methods in order to estimate and ascertain the location and the magnitude of potential earthquakes and tsunamis. Tsunamis and earthquakes that occur in Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, and other islands which are close to these two are generally caused by the convergence of the North American tectonic plate with the Caribbean tectonic plate. These islands are located on both the Caribbean tectonic plate and the North American tectonic plate. However, both of these plates are moving together at an extremely slow rate. At which these two plates have moved over the years has been described as the rate at which a human fingernail grows. Over the past thousands of years, several meters of movement have accumulated along these two plates, and this has resulted in earthquakes, landslides, and tsunamis in the region. Puerto Rico is a rocky island crust, and its surrounding sea floor is constantly being squeezed between the Caribbean tectonic plate and the North American tectonic plate. The rocks on the island of Puerto Rico are full of fractures and faults that would have been caused by the constant push and pull of these two tectonic plates. Once given enough push, some of these faults may suddenly relieve some stress, and this may cause earthquakes in the region. There is a program that is ongoing in an attempt to identify and locate the faults in the Puerto Rico region along both of these tectonic plates, in an effort to have a better understanding of the potential dangers of these two tectonic plates constantly moving away and towards each other. There exists a huge risk to life and economic infrastructure in this region. Currently, approximately 3 million U.S. citizens live along the coastlines of Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands. By assessing and understanding the possible hazards and their causes, this will help the agencies to provide information to other government agencies and the public about tsunamis, landslides, and earthquakes that may occur in the region. There also needs to be some improvement in regards to building codes, safer zoning, and providing assistance to public education for response to hazards. Based on historical data, there have been several large earthquakes to the north of Puerto Rico. There was a 7.3 magnitude earthquake in 1918. There was also a 7.8 magnitude earthquake in 1943. There was a 8.0 magnitude earthquake in 1946, which had 4 major aftershocks that measured 7.6 magnitude, 7.0 magnitude, 7.3 magnitude, and a 7.1 magnitude between 1946 and 1953. There have also been large tsunamis that have hit the island of Puerto Rico and Hispaniola. They have caused the loss of life of 1,800 persons in 1946 and 40 persons in 1918. North of Puerto Rico, there are massive slope failure scars, as much as 50 kilometers across, and this is as a result of these various earthquakes that have hit the island, along with the tsunamis. The tsunamis that occur along the north shore of the island also affect the slope and scars that exist on the island of Puerto Rico. Other margins of the island of Puerto Rico, closer to the west, the south, and the southwest, are also associated with massive tectonic features and may also pose additional hazards to life and economic infrastructure across Puerto Rico and surrounding regions. Area of focus is the Puerto Rico Trench. It is currently the deepest part of the Atlantic Ocean, with water depths exceeding 8,300 meters. This depth of the Puerto Rico Trench is comparable to the deep trenches in the Pacific Ocean. Other trenches in the Pacific are located in places where one tectonic plate subducts or slides under another one. However, for the Puerto Rico Trench, which is contrasting to these Pacific Ocean trenches, the trench is located at a boundary between 2 plates that slide past each other with only a small component of subduction. This trench, the Puerto Rico Trench, is less deep where the component of subduction is larger. The unusually deep sea floor is not limited to the trench. It extends further south towards Puerto Rico. The Puerto Rico Trench has been associated with several negative gravity anomalies on Earth. Also, there is a presence of an active downward force. There is also the thick limestone platform, which deposits a flat layer near the sea level and is now tilted northward at a uniform angle. Its northward edge is at a depth of 4,200 meters, and its southern edge can be found on land in Puerto Rico at an elevation of a few hundred meters. Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands to its east, and eastern Hispaniola to its west are all located on an active plate boundary zone between the North American plate and the northeast corner of the Caribbean plate. The Caribbean plate is rectangular and it slides eastward at about 2 centimeters per year, which is relative to the North American plate. Movement along its northern boundary in the plate boundary zone region is dominantly strike-slip, as in that it moves sideways between the plates with a small component of subduction. The Caribbean plate farther east overrides the North American plate, creating an island arc of the Lesser Antilles with its active volcanoes. There are no active volcanoes in Puerto Rico nor in the Virgin Islands. There have been a lot of seismic activity, which has resulted in large earthquakes in this region. The region lies between Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, and Hispaniola. Many earthquakes have happened even in 2020. Some occur along the Puerto Rico Trench, and some occur to the north of Hispaniola, and others occur to the northwest of Puerto Rico. There are many cities that lie along this region, and they are at a substantial risk of danger. Tsunamis and landslides are also caused by seismic activity in the region. Be safe, remain informed.